This video is extremely overdue. If you've been following this channel, you know that I am on a journey to pay off all of my debt. In total, I have over $30,000 of debt when it comes to student loan debt as well as credit card debt. Luckily for me, my car is completely paid off, and I did that at the beginning of this year. So that is one major milestone already completed before I even started this series. And even with that accomplished, I still have a long way to go, and the year is just beginning. Now it's May. We're almost halfway through the calendar year, and I say the year is just beginning. And the reason I say that is because one of the main forms of income that I am taking advantage of has seasons. It has an off season and it has an on season. And right now we are in that on season. The weather is nicer in Wisconsin, even though right now it's pretty gloomy and going to rain all day. And when the weather is consistently nice, that means that weddings are happening much more often. In fact, just this weekend coming up, I have 2 weddings back to back. I have a Friday wedding and I have a Saturday wedding. And what am I doing at these weddings for money? Well, I'm the DJ. So not only does that mean that I'm playing the music throughout the day, but I'm also the MC for the day too. So I'm running all the microphones and I'm also making sure that all of my equipment is working properly. This job is super fun. It's a very consistent flow of income and it's not too many days a week. Depending on what is going on that week, there might be opportunity for more gigs or less gigs. But generally speaking, I'm looking at about 1 to 3 days a week that I'm gonna be DJing a wedding. Now, on top of the wedding DJing, what I've also been doing is working on my eBay store. Now, last year, I did a lot of eBay reselling and I did it all through garage sales. And from experimenting with all sorts of different kinds of items, the thing that I found sold the best was clothing, accessories, and bags. So what I mean by accessories is like hats and jewelry. And then clothing, well, pretty much all kinds of clothing, but specifically last year, thanks to the garage sale season, I was selling vintage t-shirts. And vintage t-shirts are a great thing to sell on eBay when you can find them. It just takes a little bit of research in order to understand how to identify them properly and price them properly. But once you have those 2 things down pat, it is a super simple thing to find out in the wild and get listed on eBay and get sold pretty quickly. So I'm pretty much starting out with a little bit of everything. You know, I've had a lot of success with my golf polos so far, a couple button-down shirts as well. But right now I'm kind of selling everything, right? So I'm selling things like this. This is a medium-sized tall sweater dress by Old Navy, and luckily, it's new with tags, so it still has its tag on it. It's never been worn, which definitely does increase the value. Am I gonna get the tag price for it off of eBay? No, definitely not. And that's just how eBay works. Luckily, there is still a lot of profit to be made with this model. In addition to just selling the things that you find around your home, like a lot of my stuff on my store right now is actually women's clothing because that's what's around the home. My fiance has a lot more clothing than I, and she really wants to get rid of a lot of it. And when it comes to eBay reselling, there's really no harm in posting things on your store that are out of your niche, especially since right now my store doesn't even have a niche. But I am beginning to find out what I like and what I can identify easily in the wild. And it's really been looking like my main sellers are going to be button-down shirts and golf polos. I find those everywhere at the local Goodwills, and I'm sure I'll find a bunch of them in garage sales once I start taking advantage of garage sale season starting up. That's where you can find your vintage clothing all over the place and for rock bottom prices. The last thing that I mentioned I was going to be doing for income was door dashing. And I've door dashed a little bit, but honestly, I think it's been like almost 2 months now since I've door dashed. Up until a couple weeks ago, probably like a week and a half ago, the only thing that was causing my knee discomfort, which if you don't know, I am still in the process of rehabilitating my knee after ACL and meniscus surgery. And the last thing that was causing me discomfort was driving. And with DoorDash, you drive a lot. I mean, we're talking about like between 4 and 6 hours of driving every day that you go out to DoorDash. And for someone who's recovering from knee surgery, that's not the most comfortable thing to do. Fortunately, the last time that I saw my surgeon, he let me know that I am completely past the point of needing any work restrictions. So DoorDashing will be coming back. But let's go over some of the money that I've made since the last time I checked in. We're gonna be going over all of this information via my phone because it's super easy to record the screen on my phone. So let's dive right into it. Let's start out, well, first let's start out by starting the screen recorder. Boom, boom, it's screen recording. So let's start out by simply going to look at the spreadsheets that I've been using. In my Google Drive, I have spreadsheets. Oops, wrong Google Drive, that's my DJ's Google Drive. So in my Google Drive, I have a folder that's called Income, 2024 Income, right? And let's dive into the DoorDashing. See, modified last time, April 15th. I don't even know if that means I DoorDashed that time. Okay, yeah. So the last time I DoorDashed was April 12th. You can see that how I organize this is I have the date, I have gas purchased if I did, time spent actually DoorDashing, and you see how low these times are. The reason why these times are so low is because after about that much time, that is when my pain started. So that is a very important thing to track, is how much time you're actually spending on these things. Because when you track your spending on these things, you can also see how much you're making per hour. So you can see here, this is my time spent, and then these are my earnings on those days. So with this 2.75 hours, you can see I made $50.50. I also track the miles that I'm driving too, because that is tax deductible. And then you can see that I have year total earnings, which I just use a simple little, what is it? It's not Excel, but it's Google Sheets. But I use a simple Excel formula there to just always add it up. So let's say I go here and I said I made $14. Once I hit enter, it'll change that year total earning by adding in that 14, right? And another thing that I'm also tracking is year total gas spent. And then on top of year total gas spent, I'm also totaling my vehicle costs. Just like my vehicle needs an oil change coming up, so that's gonna be a vehicle cost that I have to calculate. And then you can see I calculate my year total profit. So while I made $137.18, I only profited $85.16 because to make that $137.18, I had to spend $52.02 on gas. Now that was a very large contributing factor to also not DoorDashing as much too. Now I believe the reason why I'm spending about half of my money on gas is because I'm also not driving that much when I go out to DoorDash. But that doesn't mean I'm not driving in general. I still have to drive other places like to PT. If I ever go to see my brother, that's a 30-minute drive. Whenever my fiance and I go do something, that's more driving. So gas is still being spent, but I don't calculate that gas expense into this spreadsheet. And then aside from this, I'm also calculating how much profit I'm making each month too, right? So you can see here that I haven't done the April, so I'll go ahead and I'll do this one right now. So you'll see that in April, I made $47.72 from DoorDashing. And then you can see that after that, I also calculate the time spent, which is 9 total hours, and my hourly rate. So in 9 hours, I made $137.18. That's $15.24 an hour. Not a very great hourly rate. Definitely looking to make more than that. So all of these were contributing factors, as well as the discomfort in actually doing the DoorDashing. All of these factors contributed to me not DoorDashing as much. So let's go into the DJing, right? So the DJing, this is where stuff gets a lot more consistent. So these are the weddings that I've done. But you can see that the pay here is pretty nice, right? But with the DJ pay, we also get tips, all right? And sometimes tips are really, really good. Sometimes tips are not so great. Sometimes the tips aren't even there at all, right? And when the tips don't come at all, that is totally fine. I'm getting compensated pretty well anyways, especially when I'm in-house, because when I'm in-house, I get an additional $100 tip added on immediately without my couple even doing that. But you can see here that the tips are inconsistent, but when they do come in, they're pretty good. You can see that the time spent is a lot larger than the DoorDashing. That's because whenever I'm doing a DJing gig, I'm pretty much guaranteeing myself a 10 to 12 hour day. And then here, total earned income so far, $1,472.16. Now this, you need to remember that this is all during the off season or the slow season. The busy season, AKA the on season, starts right here in May and only gets busier and busier, and it lasts until about November. Okay, so we have a lot of months where we're gonna make probably like 80% of the money that we're actually gonna make from this gig is going to happen between June and November. May starts to really pick up, but as soon as we hit June, y'all, woo! June is going to go hard, and even in the slow season, we're not making bad money either. For a side gig, for an only weekend gig, and up until this month, I've only been doing 1 gig a weekend, so we've been making some pretty good money. Total time spent, we can see 64 hours. Hourly rate, we're looking at about $23 an hour, including tips. Good rate, good rate. I love that rate. I'm a fan of that rate. That's why we keep that job around, and also it's very, very fun. So I love that. Now let's go into the reselling one. So the reselling is a bit more confusing. There is a lot more going on here. So you can't see it very well on my phone, but I have these color coded because I do most of my selling on eBay, like 99% of my selling is on eBay. And then there's a very small percentage of my sales that happen on another app called Mercari. I've been playing around with cross-posting or not cross-posting. So far I've been fine without cross-posting, but hey, when you do cross-post, it's just more opportunity to sell your items, so maybe I'll start doing that again. So you can see here that I've sold quite a few items starting at the beginning of this year, but I really didn't start taking any of this seriously until obviously April. Once we hit April again, that's when things started to really pick up. That's when I started selling more things. When I started this series though, I think it was around like towards the end of April, right? So in total, we have sold 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 items. We have sold 7 items since we started doing this and taking it a bit more serious, and we're only going to continue to sell more. And then on this spreadsheet, we have a lot of columns. We have our ad fee because I like to promote my products on eBay. It helps them get seen more, it helps them sell more. We have the shipping costs, which if you see the letters CP, that means customer paid for that shipping. If I have a dollar amount, that means that I paid for the shipping. I have since discontinued the free shipping because you have to jack up the prices of your products so much in order to make a profit when you're offering free shipping. When you don't offer free shipping and then the customer has to pay for it, you're gonna profit more and you get to sell your items at a bit less too. So most eBay buyers understand that if I'm getting free shipping, I'm actually just paying for the shipping in the cost of the product. But if I'm not getting free shipping, then that means that the cost of the product is lesser, okay? So that's how eBay works with that. Then we have selling fees. eBay always takes their own selling fee because they want a cut of your profits. And then I also track how much I spent on that item. From there, we have the order earnings. That's the total amount that I got from that order, subtracting away the selling fee and potentially the shipping cost. And then I have the total profit. So as you can see, it's all over the place, right? Some of the profits are really huge. Some of the profits are not very huge. This $377 of profit, that was from the saxophone. That $88 of profit, that was from the ukulele. And those two things, technically, I lost money on them, but I actually profited from it because I got the complete value out of those products just by using them in my daily life. So that is the eBay. And then for the eBay, we have, once again, our year total profit. I calculate the year total ad fee as well as the year total selling fee because the ad fee, the selling fee, and then the cost of the product are all tax deductible because they are necessary for me to run my business and sell my products. And then you can see I have it set up for doing my color coding, eBay or Mercari. So let's check out some of the other tabs. Here I have my inventory. This is everything that I have in stock right now and also shows how much I paid for it. Actually, let's take a clip right here and let's go check out my inventory. We'll finish this video in that room. All right, so here is all of my current inventory that most of it is listed. I would say, actually, yeah, everything in these boxes has been listed other than that gray backpack right there. That gray backpack has not been listed, but the thing that has been listed is this Dooney and Burke bag. This is a really nice bag. I got this one for like 13 bucks, I think. I have it listed for just a little over $40. Hopefully it sells for that price, but if not, no biggie. Definitely gonna make a pretty good profit on it regardless. But yeah, this is my current inventory right here. I've got this big bin. This big bin has some of my old stuff in it too. And then this is fiance's clothing. These are 2 pairs of boots that my dad gave me to resell. And then this is also clothing that I have purchased at Goodwill and in reselling on eBay. So this is a cool location that YouTube has not seen. This is my desk space. This right here is a Facebook portal. I don't really use it anymore. It pretty much sits unplugged. I used to use it for training all of my clients when I was a full-time personal trainer. I'm now retired, but I do still have that personal training business. So if you want to get in shape, hit me up in the comments down below. I can pair you with a really awesome personal trainer that we have on our roster. But back to what I was talking about. So let's get back into this guy. Let me do my screen recording again. Boom, we're screen recording. So here is the rest of the stuff that is on this list. I have my inventory, like I was saying, I just showed y'all my inventory. We have a lot of things listed on eBay. We have a lot of things listed And, not a lot of things sold. We're going to go through the things sold pretty soon. We also have some things that still need to be sold. And then I have some more stuff too that I haven't even put into my inventory that I still need to add to my inventory. And then we're going to get that photographed and sold too. Okay. So that's the inventory. Inventory is pretty much just the name of every item. I have a section for SKU. I'm not using any SKU organization methods yet, but I will need to do that soon because pretty soon here I'm going to outgrow the space that I have and I'm going to need to start storing my stuff somewhere else. And when I store them somewhere else, it's going to be more of a pain in the butt to get my items when I need to ship them. So it's going to be really helpful when I have SKU numbers assigned, and then I can have all of those SKU numbers on the outside of that box to let me know where my product is. And then of course, outside of the inventory, we are also tracking our hours spent, right? So it is the 7th and I spent so we got photos and listing. Boom, we've got 05-07-2024. And in total, we spent, let's just go with like 1.5 hours, right? So this is where the scary thing comes in to play, right? This is what is scary about doing an eBay store and why you shouldn't just go all in, kind of like I've been going lately. Even with going all in, like I said at the beginning, door dashing is going to be coming back. We still got to get those bills paid. We still got to get that debt paid off. So we are going to hustle our ass off as long as our ass is still able to hustle. So total time spent, 36.5 hours. Total profit made, $579.66. Let's be real. $579.66 for buying some used clothing, posting it online, and then selling it, like just shipping it out once it's sold. It's not hard work, y'all. It's not super hard work. The hardest part of it is researching and being patient. Okay, that is the hardest part, is researching and being patient. So our hourly rate is unfortunately down at $15.88, y'all. We got to get that up. We got to get that up. How are we going to get that up? Well, let's open the eBay store app and let's talk about how we're going to get that up. Here is my current eBay store. These are the things that I have listed. I got the Travis Matthew golf polo. I listed that today, actually. We've got the Dooney and Burke purse. We've got Love Your Melon beanies. Peter Millar golf polos. We got Robert Graham short sleeve. I was super hyped when I found that Robert Graham short sleeve. This Ralph Lauren button-down shirt, I love it. I sent an offer of $18.69 out to my people who are interested. There's one person who's watching it, so that'll go to them, and it'll go to people who have been viewing it too. But it's posted for $23.72. I think this shirt is cool as hell. My fiance thinks it's a little whack, but it's a really nice quality shirt. The button-down style is definitely still in. I think the red embroidered logo really pops off of that like royal blue corduroy. Also, it's corduroy. Very, very fun fabric type. Someone will buy this. It might sit for a little, but someone will buy this. Once this offer goes through, if no one ends up buying it, I am going to lower this price. Okay, so let's take a look at some of our other items. Again, Peter Millar, Summer Comfort Polo. This one I just recently turned the price down. So look at this Peter Millar up here, $21.69. Okay, this one is more popular, I believe, because of its colorway. Right? And also potentially its size. You never know. Usually larger sizes are better. But this Peter Millar polo, I think this one is super, super cool. It's like a light blue with like turquoise stripes. And it's got this awesome Native American embroidery in it. It's super, super cool. I'm loving it. Size XL, that's a really nice size. It's got no flaws. It's got no damages and nothing like that. But I took the price down a bit. We got this Go Barefoot Hawaiian shirt. This is a good price. I don't want to take the price down, but if I have to, I will. Callaway golf polo shirt. I thought this one was going to get way more views than it did. Obviously, no one's looked at it or clicked on it yet, but that's no biggie. We're not going to let that get to us. We got the Walter Hagen polo. English laundry chino pants. This was a really cool find. King size polo shirt. I just dropped the price on this. It was originally like $13. Now I have it down at like $9.93. This is a 6XL and it is the big and tall style. I love the color. I think the color's great. I think the stripe patterns are cool. And then the 6XL big size, that is something that people who need 6XLs don't have a lot of options. So anytime, if you're doing this as a way to make money, anytime you see those 6XLs and stuff, definitely pick those up. Eddie Bauer Sweaty, Orvis Quarter Zip, things like that. But yeah, you get the gist of it, right? You get the gist. What I think I need to do is be more patient, you know, and also, you know, look at my inventory and make sure everything's listed for the right price, you know, because I hate to say it, but a lot of the stuff that's on my store right now is from my fiance. So while I want to sell primarily men's clothing and really niche down to button-up shirts, you know, button-up / button-down, so like dress shirts and golf polos, like those are the two things that I think interest me the most. And I think they have the most opportunity for fun colorways too. Not really interested in selling like t-shirts unless they're vintage. During garage sale season, I will be looking for vintage clothing. And of course, like jackets and things like that, things that do sell well on eBay, I'm super interested in getting those and selling them. But my primary focus, I believe, with the way I'm heading, is probably going to be golf polos as well as dress shirts, and making sure that they have really cool, really interesting colorways. I just think that a lot of my stuff is overpriced right now. I know you saw the pricing on a lot of it and you're like, man, $10 for what looks like a really high quality golf polo, like how is that overpriced? I think it might be overpriced simply because I am the seller that I am. I'm a new seller. I don't have that many sales made. I've been doing this like consistently this year for what, like a month, maybe a month and a half total. So I've got a long way to go. I've got to still build up my store. And to do that, sometimes you got to sell some of the things for a little bit cheaper than you'd like to start, because those people who have like 20,000 plus sales on their stores, they have returning customers. They have people who come back because they like their quality, they like their selection, and they like their price. So right now, I don't really have any returning buyers that I know of. So I need to make sure that my price, my quality, and my selection is all extremely attractive. And right now, I think that the only thing that isn't super attractive is my pricing. So I'm gonna be adjusting the pricing of like every item I have. I'm gonna bring it down way lower. We're gonna be making like $6 profit on most of our stuff, which is no big deal. You know, if you make $6 profit, but you sell 6,000 things, that's still a really good amount of money. So yeah, that is everything that I've done. Normally I would record me making my payments, but that's actually gonna come at the end of this month because it's only May 7th. And last month, at the end of the month, I recorded myself doing that, and every single second of that process was out of focus on this camera. I am working with a new camera, maybe you could tell, but I'm not using my phone anymore to record. I'm using a camera that my brother and I used to use to record all of our fitness content. But now that we live in separate places, let me turn this light on. I forgot that my light is over here. Now that I think of that, there's a light over there that should be on, but I guess maybe the light bulb is dead. I'm gonna have to look into that too. That's how my brain works as well. It's also hard to fight the brain because the brain is just going the whole time, right? But yeah, it's still only May 7th, so it's not time to make my monthly payments yet. But at the end of this month, I will be making those big fat monthly payments, and I will be recording that so you can see it. If this is a series that you're interested in, please consider subscribing to the channel so you can keep up with me paying off this $30,000+ of debt. I'll catch you in the next one.